Hi everyone, in this video we're gonna create a full stack authentication system. Let me show you what we're gonna build today. Here we can give your username, email address, password as well as confirm password, and then if you sign up it will automatically redirect to our homepage, and inside the homepage we can create message like this and we can see those messages in here. Let's say if I create a message hello world, and if I click on create message it will instant create this message and show in here. And also we can log out from this application. If I click on log out it will automatically redirect to our login page. Here if you want to access our homepage without login, and we will not access our homepage because we are not an authenticate user. So first you have to log in here, then you can access our homepage. And if you don't have an account you can click on sign up, it will redirect to our sign up page. Or if you have already an account you can click on login. In our case we have already an account, just log in and then just give your user that we have registered user1@gmail.com and give the password. Then if I click on login it will automatically redirect to our home page, and here we can also create our message. This is message 3, and if I click on create message it is instant showing in front of us. So this will be an amazing project, and we have divided this project in two parts. In the first part we will create our backend, and in the second part we will create our client side, and then we will connect both backend and client together. And in the client side we will use reactjs to create reusable component, as well as we will use tailwind css to give an style in our project. Also we will use chat.ui. This is a tailwind css component that can help us to create super fast component. And then we will use React Router DOM to create routing system. Also we will use Redux to manage our global state. Then we will use Apollo client in our frontend and Apollo server in our backend to interact between client side and backend side. And in our backend side we will use nodejs. Also we will use Apollo server to create our server. Then we will use graphql, and with graphql we can access our backend with a single API link. As a database we will use mongodb and also use mongoose to create our schema and connect to our database. We have already completed our backend part, and in this video we're gonna build the front-end part of this project. If you didn't watch part 1 where we have created our backend part, you can watch this video in my channel. I'll give you the video link in the description. Or if you don't want to watch this video, you can download the server-side source code from my GitHub repository. Just click on the link in the description or in the first comment. You will redirect to the project source code, and here you will get both client side and server side source code, so that if you have an error through watching this video you can just go to the source code and copy and paste in your project. I hope it will work well. So without further ado, let's get it started. Now we're gonna create front-end part. To create front-end part we need to set up our project, and we have to install some dependencies. First of all we're going to install reactjs. reactjs is a library to create beautiful user interface and reusable component. So let's first install this. To install first reactjs we use reactjs, that is a bundler to install different type of libraries. So go to this site and let's get started. Just copy this command from this site, then come to your VS Code editor and open the terminal. Now we have to go to our file location where we want to install this package. In our case we want to install this package on our client folder, cd auth and then cd client. In here paste those commands that we have copied and then write a dot to install this package inside this client folder and press enter. And then it will ask you what framework or what library you want to use to create your front end. In our case we want to use reactjs, so select reactjs and press enter. And then what language you want to use, you can use JavaScript, but in our case we want to use TypeScript, because in front-end part TypeScript is the best to handle runtime error. Select TypeScript and press enter. Now it says to install all of dependencies. To install all of dependencies, just write npm I and then press enter. After installing reactjs, go to your client folder. You will see here some folder and files. That means we have successfully installed reactjs. To run your application, write down in your terminal npm run dev. Void will give you a link localhost something. Then press Ctrl click. Here we see a page that is Void plus React. Now go to source folder, then go to app, just clean everything and write a basic code RAFCE. Here we see the preview. If I write here hello, it is instant changing our content. Now I'm gonna delete some folder and create from scratch. Delete the assets folder, we don't need it. Then delete app.css and change index.css file to global.css file. And then clean everything from global.css file. Alright. To create a beautiful user interface, we need to give some style. We can use traditional CSS, but in our case, we're gonna use Tailwind CSS, that is the CSS library, as well as we're gonna use ChatCN, that is Tailwind CSS component library, that will help us to create different type of components so fast, like input field, different type of card, slider, and so on. So just go to your browser and install those dependencies. I opened official Tailwind CSS website. Go to the installation section and click on framework guides. Here you will see lots of framework like Next.js, Laravel, Angular, and so on. In our case, we wanna use Tailwind CSS in our Void project, so click on Void. Here you will see some guidance to install these dependencies. First of all, create your project, and we have already created our project. So go ahead to the next part, that is install Tailwind CSS. First of all, copy this, then come to the code editor, open the terminal. For this time, close your server by pressing Ctrl C, and then paste this command in here and press enter. Then copy next line of code and paste in your terminal. And here we are seeing a new file called tailwind.config.js. Again come to the browser and then copy this line of code to configure your tailwind.config.js. Open the tailwind config. Inside this object, replace with those line of code that we have copied. And then in step 4, we need to add tailwind discoveries code in our index.css file. Just copy this line of code. In our case, we don't have index.css file because we just replace it with global.css file. Just click on global.css file and paste in here. Then go to your app.tsx. Here we need to import global.css file, and here give some style with Tailwind CSS. Class name text green 4000. And by the way, you have noticed the code editor is automatically recommending some Tailwind CSS class in our screen. But how does it happen? It happens because we are using a VS Code extension called Tailwind Intelligence. To install this extension, just click on extension and here search Tailwind. It will automatically recommend you this extension. Just click on it and install this extension Tailwind CSS Intelligence. And the second thing is, if you write RAFCE, it will automatically recommend a function, and to get this benefit, you have to install another dependencies called ES7 plus React. Just click on it and install this extension. Now we can run the server and check this, the Tailwind CSS working or not. And it is showing me an error, that is, this file doesn't exist because we replaced this file to the global.css. Just go to your main.tsx file and delete this import code. And we see this is working well. Now we will install ChatCN. I have opened our official ChatCN site. Here you will see different type of components. Just click on get started. Go to the installation section, and we want to install in our Void application, so click on it. Then here you will see some steps same as Tailwind CSS. First of all, create your project, and we have done this. And then go to the second part, add Tailwind and its configuration. Also, we have done this. Go to the third part, edit tsconfig.json file. Just copy those line of code. Let's open tsconfig.json file. In here, inside the compiler option object, just give a comma and paste in here. Then go to the next part, that is update vite.config.tss file. But first install this dependency. If you add this dependency, you can import part without error. So copy it and paste in your terminal and press enter. Then copy this line of code, go to your vite config.ts file and just replace this code with this line of code that we have copied from this website. The fifth part, run the CLI. Just copy this command with npm and paste in your terminal and press enter. Then it will ask you some question. First of all, which style would you like to use? Default. What color would you like to use as base color? Style. Where is your global CSS file? If we see, our global CSS file exists inside the source folder. So write src and global.css and press enter. Would you like to use CSS variable for colors? Yes. Press enter. Configure the import alias from component. Press enter. And as well as press enter. Are you using React server component? Press enter. And you see it is writing your components.json file and installing some dependencies. Alright, successfully we have installed ChatCN UI in our project. Now we have to check this, it's working well or not. Come to this side. And the best part of ChatCN UI is not install all of components that we don't need, and you have to install every single component, or you can just manually copy from it and use it in your project. That's the power of ChatCN UI. We are not running any unnecessary code that we don't need. So now we need a button. Just copy from it with npm and then just paste in here and press enter. It will just install a button for you. Okay, we see it's automatically create two folders. The first one is components and the second one is live. And inside the components, we see our components button.tsx. And we can use this without any hard coded. If we click it, you will see this is the full functional button that is created by ChatCN UI without any wasting of time to write this code in your own. To use this button, just go to your app.tsx and here we have to import this button from component folder. It will auto suggest you to import this button from components and UI folder. Just press enter and inside this button component, just write anything that you want. In our case, just button. Now you start your server. We're seeing a button, but it is so big because I'm zooming into 500%, just reset it, and this is our button. And we can change this button with any variant. Go to your button component, and here you will see we have different type of variants like default, outline, secondary, ghost, link, and so on. And we have different type of size, default size, small size, large size, icon size. This is the power of ChatCN. And here, if I want to change our button variant, just write variant ghost. Here we see it is automatically changed our button. We can give another like secondary or outline. That's it. You can change it anything that you want. In our case, we're keeping in default state. Okay, fine. Now we need to install another dependency, that is React Router DOM to create dynamic routing. I open our official React Route site to install this package. Write a command npm I React Router DOM and press enter. Inside the app file, I'm gonna delete everything and we need something from React Router DOM. The first one is browser router and the second one is routes and the third one route. Then wrap everything with browser router and here we are going to create a div and give a class name main container. Inside this div, I'm writing some comment here you can render a navbar. For now, we're gonna not create any complex user interface. So go ahead and create some router. Again, wrap everything inside routes. And then here I'm writing some routes, self-closing tag. First of all, here we have to give a path. The first one will be home, and we want to render a component in this path. It will be home. And then just copy it and paste 2 times. The second one is login and then sign up. And here we want to render a login component. And here we want to render sign up component. But we didn't create this component. So go to your file explorer. Inside the lib folder, we're going to create another folder called pages. And inside the page folder, we're going to create some file or page. The first one is home.tsx and right here rafce. Second, login.tsx. Third, signup.tsx. After creating this file, go to your app folder. Now we need to import this. Just click inside this component and press Ctrl space. It will show you component or page location. Just click it. Do the same thing for login and sign up. Alright, start your server. Now we see the home page. If I zoom it, you will understand well. And then inside this box, just give a slash and right here login and press enter. You will see the login page. And then if I write sign up, you will see the sign up page. That means React Router DOM working well. Alright, we are almost done with our project setup. Now go ahead and create some component in our login page and sign up page. Close everything. Go to sign up file, and here we want to create a user interface where user input data and sign up. To do this, we need some input field. So go to chat.cn site, and here if we scroll, you will see from component. Click here. By default, chat.cn use React hook from and Jute. Jute is an npm package that will help us to validate our user input, and React hook from help us to get user data. To install this component, copy this command with npm, come to your VS Code editor and open another terminal side by side. Go to auth, go to client, and just paste in here. And then go to the third part, build your form, copy everything from there and paste in your sign up file. Delete use client, then change your function name to the sign up. If I go to the browser, and here is an issue, that is don't exist this input component. Now we have to install this input component. To install this, just install input rather than form. Input and press enter. Now if I see this, and make sure you are in the right path, that is /signup. If you want to see what error occurred, just go to your inspect, go to console, and here you can see an error that is doesn't provide an export name default. Okay, so go there and you can replace this function with an arrow function. Const signup is equal to make an arrow function and then export default signup. Just copy it and paste in here. Make sure both are same. If I go to the browser and refresh, here we see some another error, that is from is not defined. Go to chat.cn site, just scroll up, just copy those line of code on submit as well as from. Because we need to define from first, then we need to create a submit handler. Just go here and paste in here. I hope it will work. There is no error. We see a basic from system where you can submit your form. Okay. Now give some style and change something and create a real from system. From there, we don't need description, just remove it. Now we need to create some field in here. To do this, just go to your file explorer, close the client folder and open your server folder. Go to GraphQL, go to typedefs.graphql. Inside the register input, just copy everything and then inside the default values, just paste in here and remove all string. Here we don't need this, and just give an empty string. As well as do the same thing in your form schema, just paste in here. We don't need a string. Now we need to validate user data. We have to make sure user gives right data or not. We can validate with jut dependencies. So jet.string, then call min function, and here we need to give a minimum length as well as give a error message. So we need minimum 1 character for submitting this form, and we can give a message give at least 1 character, and then just copy it and paste in here, and here just give email rather than min. Just call email function, just open a curly braces and put this message inside this curly braces, and do the same thing for the username. Open a curly braces, give this inside. Now we need to validate our password, minimum 6, and error message will be password must be at least 6 character. Do the same thing for confirm password. We have successfully validated our user input. Then go ahead and copy it and create another input field. Paste down 4 times. The first one will be username, and inside the placeholder username, and type will be text. Here change it email, and the type will be email, and then change it to the password. The type will be password, and do the same thing for confirm password. The type will be password, and here change this button to the sign up, and make sure you put comma in here. Just give, as well as here just give the comma, and here we don't need to give this error message inside an object. Just remove this curly braces. I hope it should do work. Go to your browser and it's work well. We want to see it in center, so here give some class name. Open file explorer, open app, delete this navbar and create a div and give a class name flex, justify center, item center, height full, and keep everything inside this div. Then go to the sign up file and here give some style, that is width 320 pixel, and here create a div and give a class name height 100 vh and margin auto, and keep everything inside this div. And scroll up, give another class name flex and justify center, item center. Go to your browser. Now you will see we successfully create a form. I think we have to change this placeholder, confirm password, as well as email. Okay, nice. Just open the console to see this value. Okay, give some data. Username Hassan123, hassan@gmail.com, password 123456, as well as confirm password, and click on sign up. We are getting just username. We are not getting email, password, and confirm password. If we come to our code editor and we have done a mistake. That is, we keep everything inside the username, but we need to keep it everything inside this object. So just paste in here and delete this username. Come to your browser and again give some data and then sign up. Alright, we have successfully get all of the data that we have filled in here, like username, password, email, and confirm password. Now our next challenge will be just want to work with another two pages, that is sign in page and our home page. Let's go to our sign in page. I think we should create here something to navigate our sign in page and sign up page. Just go there and import something from React Router DOM, that is link. Then go down, take a p tag. Inside this p tag, we can say if you already have an account, just click on sign in and it will navigate to sign in page. Go ahead and give some style, that is flex column, and give some gap 4. Then come to the browser and here you will see if you already have an account, just click it. If I click it, you will redirect to sign in page. And you can give some style, class name, capitalize, and here give some class name, text blue 400, and that's it. Okay, it's working well. Now copy everything from there, go to your file explorer, go to logging file and paste in here, and just change it to the login. By pressing Ctrl D, select all the things and give login. Then we don't need username, just delete. We don't need confirm password, as well as from schema we don't need confirm password, and email. Scroll bottom and here we don't need confirm password, as well as we don't need username. Just go to your browser. If you have already an account, just sign in. Okay, it's not working. I think here it should be login. Yes, it should be logging. So change it. Go to sign up and login, and also change the path login. Go to login file and here we can say if you don't have an account, sign up. Then go to the browser and if you don't have an account, just click on sign up. Okay, come to the browser and if you don't have an account, just click on sign up. We are redirecting to the sign up page, and if you already have an account, just log in. Then just open the console, then give some data, email as well as password, then log in. Here we see. Now the third thing is we want to create a home page. Just close everything, go to File Explorer, go to Home, and here we want to just show our message and create some message. So we need an input field as well as a simple h tag. To do this, go to Login and copy everything from there. Go to Home, just paste in here and change it login to the home. And here we don't need password as well as email. We don't need this password. And here we don't need this p tag. And inside the submit button, just we can say create message. And here create a div, give the class name flex column, gap 4, justify center, item start. Inside this div, create a p tag and write a hard code, that is this is message, and copy multiple times. Then just go to File Explorer, close client, open the server, go to type devs, and inside the create message, in the input field we're passing this message. Just copy it, close this, and here give msg. It will be empty string. Delete this and change it message, and we don't need to validate email. Just we can say minimum 2 character. Okay, open a curly braces, give a error message. You must be give at least 2 character. Okay, done. And just change this name into message, and here you can say message. Actually don't need this. We can do the same thing in the placeholder. Create message. Type will be text. I think we have done this. Just come to the browser and you will see this is message, and that will come from our backend. And here we can create some messages. Go to console and give some message. This is message. Okay, we get this message. Now it's time to connect client side to the backend side. To do this, we will use Apollo client. With Apollo client, we can connect to our Apollo server and interact between them. So open the terminal, go to your file location, cd auth, cd client, write npm i @apollo/client and press enter. After installing this package, go to your file explorer, open your client folder, then go to source. Inside the source folder, we're going to create another folder, apollo provider.tsx. First of all, we have to import something from Apollo client. That is Apollo client in memory cache, Apollo provider, Apollo link, concat, as well as create HTTP link. After doing this, we need to create a client with Apollo client that's come from Apollo client. So const client is equal to new Apollo client. Here we need to give two things. The first one is link and the second one is cache. But first we need to create a middleware, and then we have to create a HTTP link. To do this, just write const auth middleware new Apollo client, and inside this function we need to create an arrow function, and here we will add the authorization headers, but now I'm keeping as it is, and go ahead and create a HTTP link. Const HTTP link is equal to create HTTP link, and inside this function open a curly braces. Here we need to give a URI, but what URI we need to give here? That is our server link. Open the terminal, go to your server folder, cd auth, cd server, and here just run nodejs and press enter. But inside the console, here is an issue. That is could not connect to any server in your MongoDB Atlas. To solve this problem, come to your MongoDB database, then inside the security, click on network access. Just click add current IP address. You will see here it will automatically get your system IP address, but we don't need this. So click on edit, then click allow access from anywhere. It will give you a IP address 0.0.0/0, and then click on confirm. Now if I run this node index, you will see here MongoDB connected and server is ready at 4000. Just control click. Then from the sandbox, copy this URL, come to the Apollo provider file, inside the HTTP link URI, paste in here, then just pass this HTTP link. Then we need to create a caches. To do this, const cache is equal to new in memory cache, call this function, and then just pass. Now we have to create a auth provider component. So export default Apollo provider. Inside this component, we need to give our app. Go to the app file. We just need this app component in here. It will recommend you to import this app component. Just click on it. Then we need to pass a client in our Apollo provider. Client is equal to client. Then go to the main file. Inside this main file, we don't need this line of code. Just remove it. We don't need app, as well as we don't need React from React. Here just we need Apollo provider. Here it's recommend me to import this component from Apollo provider. Click on it, and that's it. Now just start your app, npm run dev, and make sure you are starting both client server as well as server. Just click on it. We didn't see anything. If I go to console to see this error, here we get an error. To solve this, come back to your code editor. I think here we have some mistake. That is Apollo client. I think here we need to give Apollo link. I think it should be work. Yes, it's working. The error has gone. Well, if I go to login, yes, we can go to login page. If I click sign up, we can go to sign up page. All right. Now our first goal is user sign up. Just go to sign up file, and here we need to create some Apollo client code. But first of all, we need something from Apollo client, that is GQL and use mutation. Here write const register user is equal to GQL, give a backtick, and inside the backtick we give a mutation. So just go to your browser, go to your Apollo server. From there, just copy this mutation, register user, and paste inside this backtick. After doing this, we need to create a use mutation. Write const, give a function name add user, and we want to get a loading state is equal to use mutation, and pass this register user, and then open a curly braces. Inside this curly braces, write update. The second parameter, open a curly braces. We need data from there, and then just console this data. This will be our register return value like email, username, token, and inside this on submit, just call this add user function. Open a curly braces, and here we need to give a variables. Open curly braces, and copy this register input, paste in here, and clone, then pass these values. And if I go there, just open the console, or give some data, Hassan123, hassan@gmail.com, and give a password 123456, as well as give a confirm password, and just click on sign up. Yes, alright. We get register user data from our server, and also we get our token. Nice. Now to check this, it's working or not, go to your database, click on database, click on browser collections, go to user, and if I scroll it, we get another user, that is Hassan123, hassan@gmail.com, that we have created a minute ago from our front end. So successfully we have done this. I think we need to return our ID in from our backend, and because we need it to create some functionality. To do this, just close the client, then go to server, then go to GraphQL, type deps, and inside the user we have to give another things, that is ID, and its type will be a ID type, and it's required. And then check in your resolvers we return this ID or not. Go to user resolvers, go to register user, and here we return this ID. Just close everything, and make sure you have to restart your server, node index, and here return ID. Okay, we have successfully done this. Now we want to create our login functionality, but here we need to do something, that is if loading, just we will return a h1 tag loading. Then go to login user. Here do the same thing, const login user is equal to GQL backtick, and make sure you have import this GQL from Apollo client as well as use mutation. Then go to your browser, go to client, just copy this mutation, paste inside this backtick, then create a use mutation, give the function name login user, destructured loading state, and inside the use mutation, pass this login user mutation, and then open a curly braces. Inside this curly braces, update, we don't need the first parameter, just destructure the data, and just console it. Inside this on submit, just call this login user function, open a curly braces, give a variables, copy this login input, pass inside this variable and values. Okay, we have done this. Just comment out this console, go to your browser. If you already have an account, just log in hasan@gmail.com and give the password. Press login. And we have successfully logged in. We get our email, ID, username as well as token. Alright, we have done with user register and user login. Now our goal is store this token in our local storage, and then with this token we have to encode our user. After doing this, with this user we will create our protected router. So just go ahead and create this. To do this, first of all we need to create our context, but in our case we will use a Redux toolkit to create our context and to manage our global state. So come to this Redux toolkit site, get started. Just copy this line of code. We need reactjs toolkit as well as React Redux. Okay, open the terminal and paste in here, and as well as copy this React Redux and paste in here. Then press enter. Then open the File Explorer. Inside this left folder, we have to create another folder called Redux. Inside this Redux folder, we have to create another folder. The first one is store.ts and the second one is slice.ts. Inside the store, we need to do something. Come to Redux Toolkit, click on Quick Start, scroll down. Just copy this line of code to configure your store and paste in your store folder. Again, scroll down and copy this slice, paste on your slice. We don't need increment, decrement, just remove all the things inside this reducers, as well as we don't need to export this. And then inside this initial state, give a state name called user, and we don't need counter state, just delete it, just call it initial state, and here change this name auth. Okay, fine. Now we're going to create a login functionality inside our reducer. So login, it will be a arrow function. Then the first parameter will be initial state and the second parameter will be action. First of all, from our action we will get our user. Okay, so after getting our user, just we need token from user action and save it to the local storage. So local storage dot set item, give the local storage file name, that is JWT token, and then action.payload.token. This action will come from our logging from. Okay, then this is our initial state. Now we have to set our initial state to the user. So that's why give state.user is equal to action.payload. When we log in, it will automatically set our user rather than null. Then create a logout functionality inside this reducer. So logout, it will be a arrow function. Then we need just state. Okay, when we log out from our app, just we need to delete our token from local storage. So to do this, just call local storage dot remove item and give the file name that we want to delete, and then simple state dot user is equal to set to null again. That means user logout. That's it. And we have to do another thing, that is if local storage dot item exists, that means token exists, just we need to get our token first of all. After getting this token, we need to decode data from token. So we need to install a dependency called JWT decode. To install this dependency, open the terminal and then inside the terminal write npm I JWT decode and then press enter. After installing dependency, we need to import this dependency. We need JWT decode from JWT decode. Then we need to decode with this JWT decode called decode data, and then call this function JWT decode and give your token in here. Now we need to do another things, that is if token is expired, we need to automatically log out user. So to do this, we need to check const expire that is equal to decoded data.exp, that is the expired time, and then we need to multiply with 1000. Then we need to check if it is less than date.now, we will just expire. Now we need to check if token is expire, just we need to log out. So just copy this line of code and paste in here. But instead of using set state.user, we can say initial state.user is equal to null, and else we can set our decoded data to this initial state. So initial state.user is equal to decoded data. That's it. Now we need to export these two functions. The first one is login and the second one is logout. Okay. After doing this, we exported our auth slice. By the way, here give this name auth slice and then export this action and then export this whole reducer. Now we need to set this reducer in our store. Go to your store.ts and here we need to import this reducer. Import auth reducer from auth slice. You can give any name that you want. In my case, we give this auth reducer because it export as default, so you can give any name that you want. And then we need to set our reducer. Just copy this name and then paste in here and give this reducer, that is auth reducer. Alright, now we need to provide this store to our whole application. To do this, go to our apollo provider.txt. First of all, we need something in here. The first one is browser router. So take this browser router. It will comes from React Router DOM and then keep everything inside this browser router. Then we need to import something from React Redux, that is provider, and then wrap everything with provider and give this store, that is equal to store, and it will come from lib redux store that we have created before. Okay, fine. Then go to your app.tsx and here we don't need any browser router because we set it in our apollo provider.tsx file. Just remove it, keep it clean. And here you can see we have set a protected router. So we need to create this protected router and protect this home to the normal user. So fine, to create this we have to go our component folder, create here a auth router.tsx. Inside this auth router, just we need something. The first one is use selector, that will come from React Redux, and the second thing is navigate and outlet, that will come from React Router. Then we will create a function that is protected route and export it. After doing this, we need something from our store. So we have created our store, that is auth user, and we need to call a use selector hook, then create an arrow function. It will return a store. So state.user. From this state we need user, so we destructure our user. Then we check if user is exist, we will return outlet, else we will return navigate to login page, and inside the outlet we will get our home page. Okay, make sure you import this component and inside this router we give our home router. Now we have done with our Redux setup. Now we need to call this function from our login file and sign up file. So go to the login file. So here we need two things. The first one is use dispatch, that will come from React Redux, and the second one is use navigate, that will come from React Router DOM. Then initialize these two hooks. The first one is const dispatch is equal to use dispatch, and the second one is navigate is equal to use navigate. After initializing this, come here and destructure your data from data object. So data destructure login user and give a alias name, that is user data. You can give anything that you want. Now we need to dispatch our login functionality. So dispatch, inside this dispatch we need to call our login functionality and then give our whole user, and inside the user we will get username, ID, email as well as token. And this login function will come from Redux auth slice because this is our reducer. So after doing this, we need to navigate to the home page. When you log in, that means I can access my home page. So navigate to the home page. Do the same thing, just copy it and go to your sign up and paste inside this sign up folder, and make sure you destructure data, user data from data, and destructure register user and give some alias name, that is user data. Then give everything inside your login function, and make sure you have initialized this dispatch and navigate with use dispatch and use navigate, and import this use dispatch as well as import use navigate, and also import login from redux auth slice. I think that's it. It will work well. But before you run this, just go to your home page to create logout functionality, and inside this home page here, just create a button and give a all on click, then dispatch our logout function, same as well like login and sign up. Just inside this dispatch function, we will dispatch our logout functionality that we have created our reducer, and make sure you have initialized this dispatch with use dispatch, and make sure you have import use dispatch as well as logout functionality from auth slice. I think it should work well. Now we can see our login form, and if I want to go our home page, just delete this login and press enter. You will see we didn't access our home page. Again, just delete login and go to your home page, but you didn't go to your home page because user not an authenticate user, okay, to see this home page. So now what we can do, we can just log in with our email. So give your email address hassan@gmail.com and give the password, and then press login, and you will see it's instant redirect to our home page. Okay, now we can access our home page. If we inspect, then click on application, and here we will see successfully our JWT token has stored in our local storage, and the file name is JWT token, and the second thing is React store. So to do this, you have to install this Redux dev tool. You can install it from your Chrome Web Store. After installing this, you will get this feature. Then click on Redux, and here you will see we have called our login functionality. Inside this auth user, that is our store, we will see our user. Here we can see username, ID, email, and as well as token. Okay, nice. Again, open the application. Now we want to log out from our application. So just click on logout button. Here we can see the JWT token has gone, and we redirect to our login page. Now if I want to go our home page, we didn't do this because we are not logged in. So now if I again log in and press enter, we will see our token has stored here, as well as inside this Redux store we get our user, and we redirect to our home page. Now we want to create our create message functionality and get this data from our server. Nice. Just come to your VS Code editor. Then go to your apollo provider.tsx. Here we need to do something. That is, we need to add a middleware, and inside this middleware we have to give our token in our Apollo server. First of all, we need our token from local storage. Const token is equal to local storage.getItem, and give the storage name, that is JWT token. Okay. Now we need to give our token to our Apollo server header, that is our authorization token. To do this, we need to perform some operation in here. Operation.setContext. Inside this set context, open a curly braces, then give a header, that is header clone, open a curly braces, we want to give a authorization token. Now we check if token is exist, open a backtick and then give barrier. As you see in our backend, we give a barrier, and after this barrier give a space, then dollar sign, give this token directly in your authorization header. And if not exist token, just return an empty array. Okay, well, now we need to return something with forward, but this forward and operation will come from Apollo link, and inside this arrow function we get our operation and forward. So keep this operation and forward, and with this operation we can set our context as well as copy this forward, and we need to return something, that is return forward. We need to return this operation. Just copy it and paste inside this forward function. That means if this authorization header exists, then we can create our message, else not. Nice. Now here, as you see, we import concat from Apollo client. Just copy it inside this client. Rather than pass HTTP link, we need to pass both auth middleware and HTTP link by concatenation. So just delete this, call this concat function, and then copy this auth middleware, paste in here, as well as copy this HTTP link, then paste in here. Okay, I think it will work well. Now go to your home page. Inside this on submit, we can create our create message functionality. To do this, here create mutation. So const create message is equal to GQL, that will come from Apollo client. Just import it and then open a backtick, then go to your Apollo server console. So inside this mutation we can see our create message. So go here and create a mutation, that is create message. From this message we can get a message. Okay, as well as create a query, get messages, and from here we can get our message array. Nice. Just copy this mutation, come to your application, and inside this backtick just paste this mutation. Now we will configure and create a mutation function. So const get an array and then call this use mutation hook. This will come from Apollo client. Make sure you have imported this use mutation, and here you have to pass this create. I think it will be MSG, okay, and then you have to pass this create message mutation. The second parameter, open an object, and here we get our update function, and from this function we get two things. The first parameter is proxy and the second parameter is result, that means our data. After creating this message we can get our result. Just console.log it, and then here create a function called create message, and then copy it, paste in here. Inside this create message open a curly braces, then give some variables. Just open a curly braces and then copy this variable and give here, then just give values dot message. This is our message. Fine, we have successfully done this. Then we need to get our message from backend. So come to your Apollo client and then copy this. Then here we need to create another query, that is const get message is equal to GQL, and open a backtick and paste in here this query. We need to open a curly braces and we need to give this message query inside this curly braces. Now it will work well. And then we need to query these messages. Okay, to do this, just write const open a curly braces, then we need to import something, that is use query, that will come from Apollo client, and just we need to pass this get message query inside this use query. Just pass, and from this query you will get two things. The first one is loading and the second one is data. Here you can say if loading, just return a h1 tag loading. Okay, after doing this, without doing this hard code, just open a curly braces and then check if data dot get message is exist, just give AND operator, then we can display in our site dot map, get this m message, and then open this, give a p tag, then m dot message. Now go to your site and then refresh this page. You will see we successfully display our messages, and these messages comes from our database. Okay, now here we can see an error that is creeprops, no problem. Inside this p, just give a key that will be an index. Okay, just get this index and give it. Okay, fine, just refresh again and it's work well. But if we create another message in here, message 3, we don't see it. But if I refresh it, here we can see this is message 3. But we want to create this functionality, that is, if we create some message like message 4, if I click here, it should instant update these messages and print in here. So to do this, go there, just delete this console and also delete this console. And in here, when we create message, we need to update our cache. So to do this, we need data from get messages. So const give a variable name old data is equal to, from this proxy we get our read query. Inside this read query, give a query, and we want to read this get message, so give this query. And after doing this, just create a variable new message is equal to, inside this array just give this old data dot, here we get messages, so get messages, nice. Then just call your proxy dot write query. Inside this write query, we need to first specify our query that we want to write, that is get message. Give this query and then give your data. Just copy this and paste in here. Instead of giving message, just give your new message. Just copy it and paste in here. It will automatically update this array with new messages. Fine. Now it should work well. And make sure you have give here a clone, otherwise it will not work. Okay, fine. Now we have done our project. To see this, go to your browser, just close it. Now if I create a message, this is message 5, and here we can see message 5 is not exist, but if I click this button, it instant update our cache. So if I give 6, just create, and it is instant changing our cache. Nice. So we have successfully created our authentication system. We have created our backend, we have created our front end and connect together. That is amazing, right? Again, one time check this, everything is working or not. Just click on logout. We will redirect to a login page. And if you don't have an account, assume we don't have an account, just click on sign up, then give your data. Here I should 1 2 3, and here give 1 2 3, and then give a password as well as confirm password. Then click on sign up, and then we will redirect to our home page. Now we can create our message, but just log out and you will redirect to our login page. Just give your email address that we have registered a few minutes ago, then give your password and then click login. You will redirect to our home page. Now you can create message like message, this is message from Raisul. Just create message and this is working. It's instant update. And here you can do something like you can give some style in here. So go there, go to home, and then inside this p tag give a class name called flex px4 py2, and you can give some background color that is green 300, as well as give some text color, text green 6000, and give some border border green, and here you can change it to 700 as well as round md and give border 2 as well as give a class name capitalize, just give a padding 5 and margin top 4. And then here we don't need to give a height, just delete it. You can give some margin my6 and then go there and you will see this is working. So if I create hello2 and create, you will see this is message hello 2 and this is working well. So finally guys, we have successfully created our user authentication system with backend integration.